The biggest names in jobs have hit Canberra for the Jobsapalooza.
The Business Council of Australia.
Australian Council of Trade Unions.
Grattan Institute.
And the man who puts the PM in BPM, DJ Albo.
Thank you for bringing your energy, your ideas and your leadership to the National Jobs and Skills Summit.
In his opening set, the PM dropped a new collab with the NatCab.
An additional 180,000 fee-free TAFE places for 2023.
The billion-dollar package, split between the Commonwealth, states and territories, kicked off a day of debate on the big topics.
Sustainable wage growth.
The adaptive role of collective bargaining.
Creating a safer, fairer and productive workplace.
In a time of a pandemic or a natural disaster or a recession, whose jobs go first? People with disabilities jobs. And that's not fair.
Female participation in the workforce was front and centre, with keynote speaker Danielle Wood pointing out that Australia ranks
38th in the world,
with data showing 125,000 Aussie women would work if not for a lack of childcare options.
I can't help reflect that if untapped women's workforce participation was a massive iron ore deposit, we would have governments falling over themselves to give subsidies to get it out of the ground.
The government announced it would take immediate action to amend the Fair Work Act, addressing flexible work arrangements, protections against harassment and discrimination, and removing limitations on multi-employer agreements.
We're not going to delay on those issues. We start next week.
With tomorrow's lineup set to address skills training, migration and discrimination, will this Job Fest result in a bunch of brand new bangers?
We won't spend them playing our greatest hits.
Well, putting it up backstage tonight is the Treasurer, Jim Chalmers. Good to see you, Jim.
G'day, Hamish.
Hey, Jim, before we kick things off, I've got to say that package looked amazing. The vibes on the ground at the Jobs Summit looked electric. Just have a look at some of the vibes on the ground there. I mean, things are Twiggy there. That's Anthony Pratt. And I think we've got it's Brendan O'Connor. Was it as exciting as that?
Look, in their defence, whenever I give a speech, that usually happens, Pete. So I think all of that footage was taken between 8:20 and 8:30 a.m. this morning when I happened to be speaking.
The strong message today, there's a huge untapped resource available in getting women back to work. Why don't you bring childcare relief forward for those women, get them back in the workforce?
Well, you're right that it was a massive theme of the first day, and we did that intentionally. We wanted to make sure that one of the big focuses of this Job Summit was the untapped economic potential of Australian women who would work more and earn more if we made it easier for them to do that. And I know that there has been calls from a lot of people that I have a lot of respect for to bring forward our game-changing investment in childcare, which recognises that this is not some kind of social security payment. It's crucial cost of living relief that has a big economic benefit in our workforce and in our economy. And we would like to be able to fund some of these ideas earlier than we are, but the reality is, and just being upfront with all of your viewers, is that we can't afford to do all of that. And so instead, it will begin in July as we originally intended. And when it comes in, it will be a game changer for Australian mums and dads, and it will also be a game changer for the economy, and we're really proud of it.
One option that's open to you, Treasurer, is you could save $243 billion by scrapping the Stage 3 tax cuts, which do overwhelmingly benefit men. Wouldn't that money be better spent on better childcare arrangements that would then get more women into the workforce?
Oh, well, I mean, first of all, as I think you probably know, we haven't changed the position that we took to the election on those Stage 3 tax cuts. And I think it's important to understand that those tax cuts don't come in for a couple of years, and so you couldn't theoretically use that saving from what you're proposing to fund childcare in the next few months. It doesn't quite line up like that. You brought a point about our priorities. I mean, we've got a whole bunch of priorities in the near term, which is about getting wages moving again, dealing with these labour shortages and skills shortages, making our economy more productive and more competitive and work for more people so it creates more opportunities. That's what we're focused on. Our position on the tax cuts hasn't changed.
Jim, I do want to pull you up on that, though, because these tax cuts are baked into the budget in the out years. It is legislated. You went to the election saying that we're going to stick to that. But all of these decisions are about your priorities as a government and our priorities as a nation. And it seems that there is consensus about the opportunity of getting all of these women back into the workforce. And it does seem an obvious miss that you're not willing to be pragmatic about these tax cuts in the way that you are about other things.
Oh, look, obviously we listen respectfully to people who have a different view to us, but we point out that we haven't changed our position, and it doesn't prevent us from making some of these big investments. I mean, that childcare investment, which is the biggest on-budget investment that we took to the election, it'll be the biggest on-budget investment in the budget I hand down in October. That's a big game-changing investment.
But Jim, I keep hearing you and other... I hear you and other ministers in your government saying that we can't afford to pay for some of the good ideas that are being put forward. Why is it that you can't afford to pay for those good ideas, but you can afford these tax cuts that, as Lisa said, will overwhelmingly benefit high-income men?
Well, the point I'm making about the childcare bring forward is that you can't, the way the budget is set up, pay for something in 2023 with a change in the budget a couple of years after that. I mean, that's just the point that I'm making. I understand the point that you're putting to me. I understand and listen respectfully when others put it to me as well. But what I want to try and avoid here, Hamish, is to think that somehow an investment of almost $5 billion in a game-changing childcare policy, which will make it easier for Australian parents and especially Australian mums earn more and work more, coming in July is some kind of second-best option. I mean, it will be an incredibly important investment. And today at the Jobs Summit, in that really important first session on maximising the participation and economic opportunity of Australian women, the thing that came up again and again and again is how important that investment will be.
Jim, we'll let you get off to the after party. Looks like it'll be great. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much, everyone.
Does it wash? I mean, I get the point about you can't do it in this year's budget for something that's legislated down the track. But as a working mum, do you think it stacks up?
It doesn't to me, and I also think we need to destigmatise childcare as well. I had a kid who went full-time childcare and people said, your kid was in 5 days. She's absolutely fine, I think. So far.
I think there is some speculation that maybe the government is waiting to create some space and see if the overwhelming feeling in the community is that they have to scrap these job cuts. I know it's complicated because it's a three-stage set of legislation, so to unpick just that last bit is difficult. But I can't see how they can get away with it.
So I was thinking this was Canberra Coachella. You're getting a more Woodstock 99 vibe, are you?
Fire Festival.
Fire Festival. Okay, wow. Well, I hope the sandwiches are a little bit better.